Hi, welcome to Tipton County Pulse. I'm Barry Foster, Director of the Tipton County Museum Veterans Memorial and Nature Center in Covington, Tennessee. We have Sherry Onorati behind the camera, our archivist. Thank you, Sherry. And today our special guest is Luke Weathers III. Welcome, Luke.
Well,
thank you for being here.
It's my pleasure. My pleasure.
Now, tell me a little bit about yourself, and then we're going to talk about your famous father. But first, I want to hear about you.
Okay, I was born in 1950 in Memphis, Tennessee. I went to St. Anthony Catholic School, elementary school. From there, I went to, at the time, it was Catholic High School for Boys in 1964. I was the first registered African American at that school. I graduated in '68. I went to Virginia Union University. I also attended the, at the time, Memphis State. Married, got 4 children, 3 grandchildren, and 2 great-granddaughters.
You don't look old enough.
Oh, yes. I feel it, though. Sometimes I feel it. I worked in the private sector for 6 years prior to being employed with the government. Got employed in 1975 with the United States Postal Service. I spent 32 years there, and I retired as a business service network marketing specialist. Had some fabulous projects, and the job itself was quite rewarding. Some accomplishments in my life that I'm quite proud of. One of those being, I was the liaison for the post office nationwide with FedEx. I had my complement, Clint Berger, who was over with FedEx, and we coordinated the operation of the FedEx hubs. If they needed stuff like equipment, or there was a flight delayed or manifest problem, we handled that. Also, with the United States Postal Service.
Okay, like what year was this with the FedEx and everything?
FedEx, my last 7 or 8 years with the Postal Service. Also with United Parcel Service. Actually, I was the one who was responsible for the distribution and delivery of the last 2 Harry Potter books nationwide.
Oh, wow.
So that was a long day for me at the office.
I remember people lining up at bookstores to buy those books.
Absolutely.
When they came out. Yeah.
We took months, logistic-wise, to get everything coordinated. If there was an error in delivery, who they were supposed to call. I had this team together nationwide, and it was about 16 hours there at the office that day. And then I've got one project I'm pretty proud of, but I can't talk about it because of security reasons. Yeah.
Okay. Now, your father is one of the original Tuskegee Airmen,
Yes.
and we are getting, well, you brought everything in today, and we will have that exhibit up February 1st with a reception from 5:30 to 6:30, and we would like everyone to come. But growing up, when did you realize the significance of what your father did, or all of that kind of stuff?
Actually, to be honest, we really didn't know the significance of what the Tuskegee Airmen were about, or his participation as a Tuskegee Airman, until later on in life. I mean, it was something that growing up as kids, we didn't read about in history books at school. There were 2 movies that came out, the Tuskegee Airmen and eventually the Red Tails movie, which gave us a better insight. Yeah, these guys actually existed. The problem that I had at the time, and I guess it's something that I want to share as far as his participation goes, is that the United States did not want it known in this country that there was a base in Africa completely run by African Americans and had African American pilots. And them even getting to that point was a chore. They had congressional hearings. This was after the NAACP had filed a lawsuit to allow African Americans to be pilot cadets. And these doctors had these graphs and charts depicting brains, and said that African Americans really were not geared for flying complicated machinery like airplanes, and that this portion of the brain depicted that they would run in the face of the enemy. Little did they know, at that time. But yeah, there was a base set up, and they accomplished something in the war that has not been matched or surpassed. And it's unfortunate we don't read about this in history books. Our kids, generations after us, and this is one reason this exhibit is important to me and my family.
Well, that was my next question.
Yeah.
Why are you sharing this? And this is why you're sharing this.
The history should not be buried. It should be shared, because it's a fact, and you can't change a fact. It's a shame that these guys went over there and wanted to participate and fight for their country, but they wanted to do it in capacities other than being shoe shine boys or cleaning latrines or being cooks. And all they wanted was an opportunity. Just give us an opportunity. And they did it. Now, like I said, let's go back to the feeling and idealism of this country. They didn't want this program to succeed. So they did everything possible in their power to make sure it didn't succeed, because it would have gone back and refuted everything that was presented in Congress about African Americans' inability. Both movies, the Tuskegee Airmen and the Red Tails, actually stated that these pilots had to take the test twice. Historically, that is not correct. They had to take the test 4 times.
Wow.
4 times. So, if you really think about it, the Tuskegee Airmen were the worst Tuskegee Airman pilot was better than the white or Caucasian pilot if they had to take it 4 times. I mean, that's just my personal opinion, and that's just the way I feel about that.
Okay. Whatever, today you're here, you're sharing this with us, and I know this, you've had this at the public library in Memphis.
Yes.
And you're sharing it, you've been sharing it with the community. What other things have you done to keep your father's legacy alive? Which is wonderful, by the way. Thank you. We really appreciate it.
Anybody who wants to sit down and talk about it, because like I said, this is something, as a hero during the war, and I've noticed with other military people who accomplished things in the war, they don't talk about heroism in the war at all. They don't talk about the great things that they did. It's something they kind of keep private. But historically, it's significant that we know our history. It's important to my family, my grandson, his family, and going down to know actually our family's participation and having a war hero in the family. So what we have done, anyone who asks us, if you want to sit down and have a conversation about it, I'm always available for that. We've had churches that we have been to. We have gone to most of the schools south of Covington and north of Memphis, where they come in and ask us to give a presentation during a history class or during Black History Month, et cetera, et cetera. And to date, I think we have done, my wife and I have done 33 presentations.
Oh, that's significant.
Yeah.
Good.
33 presentations. It's one way to keep his legacy going.
Yes.
And if things like the dedication at the Memphis International Airport is something that's going to be etched in stone as far as history goes, and it's something that can't be
Tell me what's going on at the airport.
Well, it's already occurred.
Okay.
Steve Cohen, the congressman from the 9th District, was very instrumental in helping our family with Dad's funeral and his burial. Unknown to a lot of people, Arlington National Cemetery requirement to have being buried there. Of course, you've got to, qualify, number one, but to get a schedule takes about 3 months to get your loved one buried there.
Okay.
The requirement that they have is that all veterans have to be cremated. And that's due to one president's administration actually selling the land that was allocated for the veterans. I won't mention the president, but it wasn't Obama. So he was very instrumental in getting the application, a 99-page application that was submitted to Congress to have a full burial. Okay, his involvement with the family as far as the burial, the funeral. He wanted to do something other than just that participation. He wanted something. He said, wouldn't it be nice if we had a plaque somewhere? So he came up with the idea of doing the FAA plaque, Memphis International Airport plaque at the Memphis Airport Authority, or Memphis International Airport. So there is a plaque there in his honor in the Memphis Aviation History section of the airport. So anybody's welcome to go back and see that.
Okay, now, after the war, your father became an air traffic controller, and I think that's significant too. And that's wonderful that there's a plaque there at the airport. It's still there today,
Yes,
right?
yes. Dad tried several businesses. Afterwards, he tried to get hired as a pilot, couldn't get any employment there. And he tried several businesses that he just wasn't successful at. He wasn't a good businessman per se, but he knew his aviation. So the opportunity came for him to apply for, excuse me, air traffic controllers with the FAA. The only thing is, once he got hired, he couldn't be stationed in Memphis. He had to be shipped to Alaska.
Okay.
So he spent the first year there by himself. The second year, the family stayed. Third year, the family stayed minus me, because that was at the time that my education was kicking in. I was in the 6th, 7th grade, going into the 8th, and I wasn't getting what I needed in Alaska because my mother up there was the only teacher for all 8 grades, and we were all in a classroom on the floor.
Oh.
And she says, you're not getting the tools you need to compete later. So I actually stayed with a cousin the 3rd year, and then the 4th year, the family, we were all together except for my father staying back in Alaska. So it took him 4 years there. He transferred to Nashville, Tennessee, where he spent a year and a half, almost 2 years there before he finally got stationed here in Memphis. And that's how he became the first African American assigned with the FAA in Memphis, Tennessee.
Wow, wonderful, wonderful. Well, if you want to come see the rest of the story, you'll have to come to the exhibit. Thank you. The exhibit is going up February 1st, and you will be here that evening to speak along with Mayor Hanson and several other members of the community. And the exhibit will be up through at least the end of April, so there will be plenty of time to come in and see it. So thank you. And now I'm going to go over just a few things that are happening at the museum. We are celebrating 20 years this year. We opened our doors on Veterans Day in 1998. Were you here that day? I wasn't. No. But we're real proud of that, and we're going to have a big celebration on Friday, November 9th. I need my glasses. You'll have to excuse me. Friday, November 9th at 5:30, so everyone mark your calendars. We're going to have a big event then. We want to say congratulations to Sherry. She got her certified archives manager with the Tennessee Archives Institute. And I want to say that's a very difficult program to get into, and I can speak from experience. It's a 3-year program, and she is the only one in Tipton County that holds that designation. We're real proud of her.
Wow.
Yeah. We are expanding. We're not sure when that's going to start. We're working out the plans. We have plans for a bigger conference room and some more restrooms and a work/classroom. And if you would like to donate for that, we are selling bricks like the ones on this wall and the ones out front. All the bricks will be going outside, all the future bricks. Bricks cost $100 each, and you can buy a brick in honor, in memory of anybody, and it doesn't have to be veterans related, so if you wanted to honor your family, that would be fine. Our gardening series is back. Every Saturday in February, we have a different gardening themed lecture, And this year's lineup is Tom Mashur, the first Saturday. He's doing gardening, equipment, and tools use and maintenance. Then we have somebody new the second week, Jim Crowder, who is retired from, he was the manager of Dan West Nursery in Memphis for many years. He recently got hired with the Botanic Gardens. This is his first time out here, and we're real excited he's coming. Perennials for the Mid-South, that's what his lecture is. The third week, Cheryl Rose. Remember, Cheryl is a previous guest on this program. We did it last summer in the herb garden. She's coming back, and her talk is Where Have All the Flowers Gone? And then Dominique Ballot comes back with Gardens from the Antiquity, which I think is going to be interesting. Gardens, the biblical gardens, things like that. So that should be really interesting. The chocolate tour is coming in February, the second Saturday in February, and also that day we are having a kids art class. Edouard Manet, who was one of the Impressionists, that will be from 1 to 3. But the chocolate tour is all day. So what you want to do is you want to come here to listen to the lecture and then go to the chocolate tour. That's what you want to do. Our gift shop, we have things in there from local residents. Everything is handmade by a Tipton County person. We even have some books by local authors who've won awards. We have some military history books by local authors. So anytime we're open, please come in, look at our gift shop. We have gift certificates. We have a new sign in the herb garden that was built recently by Keith Kunkel and all of the Tipton County Master Gardeners. We have several nature certifications, and every time you get a nature certification, you can get a nice outdoor metal sign. And so our long-term goal is to get several more certifications, and right now it's got 3 on there. So thank you. If you see the Master Gardeners, thank them for that. And let's see, other art classes. Barbara Flowers McBride is coming back on Fridays starting January 19th, Friday mornings. Artist in Residence, Richard Reed is teaching Foundations of Drawing class beginning February 20th. I think that's basically it. Everything. Sherry, anything else? Not that you can think of, but thank you for joining us today, and thank you, Mr. Weathers. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
And we'll see you at the Tipton County Museum. Thank you.